What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for August 29th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for a little bit of positivity / motivation. And I feel this one really ties up what we've been talking about all summer as far as putting in effort, not being afraid to fail, taking chances and things like that. And as you've heard me mention a lot of times, my day job is in education. So as we start the new school year, it's definitely something that's very relevant to school-age kids, but can be applied to sports, your own kids, even yourself. So maybe if you need to hear this to help get motivated, great. But dreams without goals are just dreams. And I feel it's very powerful because I talked for years. My original goal in life and dream, so to speak, was to be on TV, be a sports broadcaster. At the time, I grew up when ESPN exploded, so I always wanted to be a Sports Center anchor. Obviously, life happens, things change. But as I kind of got older and realized, I'm like, you know what? I can still do something with podcasting the way that took off. I've explored writing. I've talked about the book and things like that. But it took actually setting the goals like, okay, I want to do this. Okay, what's my premise? What's this? What's that? To finally make this a reality. And here we are over a year later, and we still have a ways to go, but it's definitely well on its way. And I talk about it with my students. I talk about it with my own kids. And it's kind of like that thing, like, you know what, have the dreams, but how are you going to get there? It's one thing to say, this is what I want to be when I grow up, but how are you going to make those steps? And this can be applied to your own life. Maybe it's getting out of debt. Maybe it's buying that dream car, going on a dream vacation, dream house, whatever it is. Set goals. Make sure. And what that does is hold you accountable for what you want to do. So that way you can look back and say, okay, I'm not quite meeting the goal, so readjust, make it so you can meet it, and then continue along your path. And that's the best way to achieve your goals or achieve your dreams is to set goals. And I mean, this obviously ties in with sports as well. This year, the Eagles' goal is to win the Super Bowl. We're all dreaming of that Super Bowl win, but what the team does with the whole Nick Sirianni, they have been very good with the whole one game at a time, next man up mentality. But they set goals. Nick even said at one point this preseason, we want to go to the Super Bowl, absolutely, but we can't win our second game until we win our first. And I think it's a good way to look at it. Set goals, because without goals, your dreams are just dreams. So hopefully that can help motivate, resonates with some of you. But I think, like I said, with those Eagles intangibles we talked about yesterday as well, it really ties in with the Philly sports team. But hopefully with whatever your situation is, your job, your finances, your kids, whatever it is, set those goals to make your dreams come true. All right, quick housekeeping before we move on. Still working on trying to get the Back to the Future Eagles preview together. As like I said, life happens. Back to school has been a lot busier than what I anticipated, and now with my kids, soccer and things like that coming up, so it's coming. I just don't know when it's going to be released, but that will be the next episode. But it's a good time to go back and check the archives. It's Back to the Future with a PH, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. But ladies and gentlemen, don't look now, but your Phillies are red hot. They won again 6-4 over the Angels, and it was a good team win. They got down early, battled back, got down again, battled back. Trey Turner hit 2 home runs. I mean, if he hits even half of what he's capable of, I think we're going to be in good shape. Things are starting to come together, and I feel like the team is having fun. Tawan Walker seemed like he pitched halfway decent, but again, this team is having fun, and I feel like if they're relaxed, having fun like they were that last postseason run, they're going to be in good shape. So it's going to be a fun 6 weeks or so here. So probably actually at this point a little less than 6 weeks. So buckle up. It's going to be fun. They're currently 4 games up, and they're having fun. I mean, they're a good team. They're fun to watch. It's going to give us something to do during the weeks when the Eagles are only playing on Sunday. So I'm excited. If you want more Phillies coverage, check out our friends at 2008 Phils, world's largest Phillies email newsletter. Currently, they're giving This Day in Philly Sports History listeners 75% off a subscription. So go check that out in the link that's in the description. Get you full access to everything they have on their site, archives, discussions, the 2008 World Series banner t-shirt. 2008 Phils will follow your Twitter account. And again, I keep saying it, but I recommend following him on Twitter, 2008 Phils with a Z. And then you get access to giveaways, autographs, memorabilia, tickets. And it's all for $2 a month or $20 for the whole year. Definitely worth it. 2008 Phils. Check the link in the description for your exclusive This Day in Philly Sports History 75% off subscription. All right, some Sixers news, and we'll start with Harden. And apparently, he says he's going to be in camp, which I feel like we knew, and he's going to be a distraction. So I hope the Sixers go out of their way to be nice to him and just make him look like the douchebag that he is. Especially considering, again, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'm going to continue to say it. This is your fourth team, buddy. Fourth time you've done this. Come on, man. Like I said, my favorite quote, if you do dumbass things, people are going to think you're a dumbass. One time, okay. Twice, okay. Even 3 times. Now, this is just a habit. This is who you are. Okay? This is just who you are. So go ahead, come to camp, be a distraction, and make yourself look like an idiot and lose more money because nobody's going to want to sign you. Anyway. Interesting, they were interviewing Charles Barkley, and I want to mention this because it ties in with going back and catching up on some Back to the Futures. He talked about how his career in Philly just really went south after the 1986 offseason when Harold Katz got rid of the first-round pick, traded Moses Malone, and basically Barkley said that's when it all went downhill for him. Because you imagine, and again, it would have been Brad Daugherty and Barkley. I mean, they would have been reloaded and retooled, but it was just interesting to hear his take on that he was pissed off about it. If you want more on that, there is an episode of Back to the Future about that 1986 offseason. It's from earlier this summer, where we basically talk about how that really was the turning point for the Sixers franchise, and quite honestly, it basically has had long-lasting effects into where we are today. I know there's been changes of ownership and everything, but the Doc Rivers talked after he was fired about the stench of losing in the building. That goes back to Harold Katz in this 86 offseason when he kind of just screwed the team up. So go back and listen to that, Back to the Future with a PH, wherever you get your podcast, about the 1986 Sixers offseason. All right, couple Eagles updates. Definitely nothing so far surprising on the waiver or cut fronts. This afternoon is the deadline, so we'll have way more on this tomorrow. And again, Philly media, and I know I shouldn't be doing this because if I ever want to have partners, but I think it was Reuben Frank asked AJ Brown yesterday if he sees that people in Philly are choosing him or Devonta, kind of like teaming up, picking sides. And first of all, what a dumbass question. And Rube, come on, man. I actually like Reuben Frank, but that was a dumb question. First of all, who's picking sides? And Eagles fans out there, let me know. If you're one of the ones that are saying I'm Team AJ or Team Devonta, like it's some sort of Real Housewives thing, let me know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting and missing the pulse of Eagles fans, but I don't know, and I have not talked to anyone who is choosing sides. So if you are one of the ones choosing sides, let me know, because if this is a thing that's happening, I need to be more in tune and need to come up. Second of all, Rube, again, what purpose does this serve? It's like you're trying to manufacture a story, manufacture controversies, make yourself the story. I don't get where the question is coming from. And again, I might be way out of line. Maybe I'm missing the pulse of Eagles fans. But to me, I've been calling them 1A and 1B. And that's basically what they are. I want AJ. I want Devonta. I think the Eagles are in a very unique position to have, quite honestly, probably the best receiving tandem in the league. So for me to hear somebody ask him a question, and I mean, AJ, for his credit, did kind of laugh it off, and I mean, he answered it, but come on, Rube. Like, that's just, again, let's go back. Like, it's just dumb. Dumbass questions. I just don't get it. But again, if I'm missing it, you let me know. You guys, the pulse of the fans, you are the fans. Let me know if I'm missing something here. They did sign Isaiah Rodgers, who was suspended this year for betting on the Colts. I actually like this. This is one of those under the radar Howie moves that he just kind of does, and it kind of gets a little bit of mentions, and then people forget about it, and then come next year, boom. He's in play to make some power moves. So I really like this move. We've talked a lot about the culture of the Eagles. Something like this, he's going to be fine. And I think for the future of this team, this is a great move. Finally, Derek Barnett has permission to seek a trade. I mean, we've talked about Derek Barnett, and I listen, biggest fumble recovery in Eagles history. I'm not one of those ones that are going to go so far as call him a bust. Has he played like the number 14 or 15? I forget where he was drafted overall pick. No. Has he been solid when he's on the field? Yes, except for when he's making dumb personal foul penalties. As Nick Sirianni said, it's always fucking him. But hey, man, if he can get something, I mean, it is a crowded defensive line room. So, I mean, more power to him. Biggest fumble recovery in Eagles history. So, I'll give him that. But we'll see what – I don't see the market being like if you get a 6th-round pick for him, great. I mean, well, I don't know. Sure. All right. You guys missed the deadline if you haven't done so to get your Kelly Green Eagles gear from Philly Goat in time for the opener. But that doesn't mean you can't buy it for back to school and for the home opener and for the games moving forward. Maybe buy one of those hoodies. Those fly hoodies are pretty sweet. So go check out Philly Goat for your Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Union, Philly-centric gear. I mean, they have those awesome Believe shirts in time. Order them now. Have them in time for the playoffs for the Phils. And then if you get the right color, you can even carry it over into Sixers and Eagles season too. But go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. Help me out. Help him out. Help you out. But that's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery. Okay, we are finally getting into this day, and we're going to go all the way back to 1885. And on August 29th, 1885, the Philadelphia Phillies / Quakers, who back then they were just the Philadelphia team, but they were the Phillies, but they were also known as the Quakers. It was just very convoluted and messy back then. But they beat the Providence Grays 1-0, scoring their only run in the bottom of the 9th on a throwing error by Providence. On the mound that day for the Phillies was Charley Ferguson, who pitched a no-hitter, which became the first ever in Phillies franchise history. It was the second ever at Recreation Park. In 1883, the Cleveland Blues no-hit the Phillies. Phillies have had 14 total no-hitters in their history. Bunning and Holiday had the perfect games. Holiday's the only one to do 2. I'll give Cole Hamels credit for 1 2/3 since he pitched 6 innings in a combined no-hitter. Michael Lorenzen had the last, but on this day, back in 1885, it was Charley Ferguson pitching the first ever no-hitter in Phillies franchise history. Thank you, Charlie. All right, 31 questions in 31 days. We're winding down. And today the question is, can the Eagles survive the Super Bowl hangover? Only 3 times in Super Bowl history has the team that lost the Super Bowl the previous year won it. That was the 71 Cowboys, 72 Dolphins, and 2008 Patriots. 2018 Patriots. So it can be done. Not impossible. 8 times they've made it to the Super Bowl, including those 3, the Vikings, Broncos, and then the Bills did it 3 times. So again, it can be done to go back. 8 out of 57, it's roughly, I don't know. I can't do the math in my head right now. But, I mean, it's a decent enough percentage that maybe this whole Super Bowl thing is overblown. It's been more of a recent phenomenon. 70% of the time, the team that loses the Super Bowl makes the playoffs the next year. The Eagles are 1-1 in that category. They made it in 81, missed it in 2005. But I've been saying it all offseason. If there is one person that I'm going to bet my money on to say Super Bowl hangover be damned, that is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has that Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan mindset where he takes in and internalizes the failure. And we talked about failing forward and just learning from your mistakes. He takes that and internalizes it and then uses it as a motivation. And there's very, very few athletes in sports history, let alone just NFL history, that have that mentality, the whole Kobe Mamba mentality. Jalen Hurts is one of them. There is no doubt in my mind if anybody's going to say, I don't give a damn about a Super Bowl hangover and what the numbers say, I'm going back and I'm winning it this year, it's Jalen Hurts. Now, is it going to be easy? No, not at all. I could totally see them getting off to a little bit of a slow start. But again, that whole one day at a time thing, that setting goals to achieve your dreams, the whole Nick Sirianni thing, they have a strong foundation in that locker room. And like I said, I'm glad Jalen Hurts is on my team and not the Cowboys or the Giants or even Washington, somebody in my division, or even the Niners, a team that I have to play and worry about battling to get into the playoffs against. I'm glad he's on my side. So Super Bowl hangover, yeah, it's a thing, more of a relatively recent thing. But listen, I gave you examples of when it's able to do it. And I do apologize for Alexa going off in the background. Went a little long today. It's pandemonium. It's almost football season. It's time. It's time. It's time. But Super Bowl hangover, I'm glad Hurts is on my team. On this day back in 1885, Charley Ferguson pitched the first no-hitter in Phillies history. We'll have more on the Eagles' final roster tomorrow. Trust me when I say that whole Eagles preview is coming. Thank you for your patience. Check out Philly GOAT 2008 Phils. James Harden. Be sure to go back and check out the archives of Back to the Future. It's going to be kind of a dreary, cloudy day in the area, but make the most of it. Remember, set goals, because without goals, your dreams are just dreams. Go have yourselves a Tuesday. I'm Jim Montgomery. This is This Day in Philly Sports History, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.